we can force the daddy joke again.
Yeah. Candid.
Right, completely natural. Ready? Yeah. So if my daughter learns a swear from me, that would be terrible.
That'll be the end of it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Sorry, is this the? Are we doing
That was
it now?
Perfect.
Oh.
No. This is the open now. We're in the opening.
Oh my god. I wasn't.
That was fantastic.
Just
right.
stick to the script. I don't know.
Hello.
Improv. I'm gonna
This is
stop
going
talking.
so well. Hello, one and all, and welcome to Creative Spark, my YouTube show where I talk to cool people about the cool things that they are doing. With me today is the duo behind the mighty MysticArts, Daði and AB.
Ooh, mighty.
Hi.
I just like alliteration.
Mighty MysticArts.
That's fun.
It's the superhero fighting name that you'll end up with when you get a film script made about your journey.
Eventually, yeah.
Do we get like a mech suit where there's two pilots then?
Oh, that'd be fun.
They did that with Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
They already did that with Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim had two mech pilots.
Like Pacific Rim is cool, so I'm fine being a Pacific Rim ripoff.
Maybe you'll be like the first film. They did an anime. The anime was all right.
Yeah.
Anyway, how are you both?
We're good.
Good. Just got back from work, so from one real life job to the internet job.
Yeah, this has been so weird. I was trying to sync for a meeting with somebody for one of these kinds of video calls, and I kept suggesting hours that were late for them, and they were like, "Hang on, I thought we were at the same time zone," and I'm like, "We are." But they were like they're a much bigger channel, so they were like that was their job. They were like, I'm done at a certain point.
We're like, we have to do real work because this we're still babies at this.
We have to go to our day job and then come home and do the YouTube, the silly YouTube thing.
Yeah.
Which is frankly a little ridiculous for us.
I think that's probably because the quality of your videos are so high.
Thank
the production quality in your, and I've talked to this about a couple of people I've interviewed recently. The production quality of your videos is off the charts good. Probably because of your previous experience filmmaking, obviously.
Yeah, I'm a professional writer director. I studied at the Icelandic Film School, and before then I'd been making short films for ages, and sometimes at the day job I have to do like stuff for YouTube or whatever. And I think I've been using Premiere since I was 14 or 15. So like this is all well in my bones at this point. So it kind of seemed like oddly a no-brainer for us to give it a go. I'd been talking about wanting to do YouTube for ages.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it helps that just kind of from the get-go. Also, we had like a decent camera. We have a tripod.
I bought a really good mic during the pandy. Do people still call it that?
I have never called it that.
I've never heard it called that, but we can go with it. It's fine.
Maybe in Iceland or something they called it that.
No.
No. Okay, let's move on.
You can say that. I don't think anyone in Iceland watches my videos.
Yeah. So like, because some people, if they're like, okay, I want to go do YouTube, some of them start from scratch.
Yeah.
And equipment costs a bunch.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're lucky enough that we were able to borrow a bunch of this stuff from friends and family, and we'd taken a couple of sort of steps into like video production things. Like at one point we tried to film a game, like an RPG game.
Right.
So I could then reach out to contacts I have, and we borrowed a whole bunch of equipment, and we sort of did a similar thing here with a channel to make sure that we had the because we wanted to make sure that we got to a certain production value, and that was very important to us. Which is funny because it seems to have worked to a degree, which we never really believed in. This seems absolutely absurd to us. Like we
were like, there's a million YouTube channels, and like even though D&D tube is a niche, like D&D's
huge one. Yeah.
D&D's gotten pretty big.
And there are so many great channels with amazing content and
lots of people out there. So there's no guarantee that just because you have a nice camera or the film grade or color grade or whatever is nice, that doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna do well.
Yeah.
So we're still like, what's going on?
How does it feel to be like a quintessential example of a channel with like a few really, really big viral successes alongside your still relatively successful lower hitting videos? Like your lower videos are still like 6K views, which is still very solid. But then obviously the 8 types of combat, when I checked, was at like 300,000 views.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that you say like we have multiple viral ones, because up until like very recently, the combat one, the 8 types of combat, like was the viral
Right.
video. Like when we released our like first 5, it was the combat one that just it grabbed people and it kept going. We're like, oh my god,
I was
1,000 views in a day. This is crazy.
I was going through our chat from when that happened.
Yeah.
I went and scrolled up because I was looking for some thumbnail. I needed to find like what I'd sent you
Yeah.
in one of those chats, and I was like, all right, let me go, because we just scroll up Discord, it saves the originals, and it was us like freaking out when it was starting, and we were like, what's going on? And I found a screenshot where it was me, like, and it was the 8 types of combat video, and the caption was like 15 capital A, like and then look at the views, and it said 900.
Yeah.
Like that was success. That was us
No, of
going like,
course.
oh my god, we've done it, we've made it.
Because we were literally, we had no one, like we
Yeah.
had no followers, we didn't have any pre-existing like internet presence.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, if we could get 100 views, that's like really good.
Yeah,
If we can get 100 views in a day as nobody, that's great.
that's amazing.
And then it happened immediately, and we were like, what is happening?
What do you think is the reason that happened?
I don't know. Like, well, so I think what we did initially, like I kind of mentioned it, is like we uploaded 5 videos at
Mhm.
once. And so like that was Dade's idea. Because like it always sucks if you find like a YouTube channel or a cool video that you really want to watch, and then you like want to go see more by the creator, and there's nothing, and you're like, oh, was that like a one-off? Because there's some YouTube channels or like some videos I've watched where like they've never released something again.
Yeah,
Maybe
there's this video essay that a friend of mine showed me when we were talking about launching this. That was like, it was an hour-long video essay about Thanos, and the channel is called Just That One Video About Thanos. And if you click on it, it's just that one video about Thanos.
I mean,
Yeah.
I respect it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like sometimes it's those, or like, you know, if they're just starting out or whatever, you're like, oh, I like this. I would like to do more to, you know, keep engaging with this. And so we decided we should do 5. So that, because also we were kind of like dipping our toes into the water in terms of like, what do we want to focus on? Because I know when we first started out, Dade was like, I want this to be a book review channel, and I was like, I don't. You can do what you want, sweetie. Like let's see what happens. And then the adventure review video did the worst, and I was like, so we're not going to be a book review channel.
No. Now we get to when we want to do a book review, I put in a whole bunch of work, and I do a bunch of research, and it takes forever. And
yeah, they're just
it's just
they're
just for me.
They're so labor. Yeah, it's not like we say, okay, we're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
But it's just it's a lot of work, because you literally have to read through the whole thing, like do a bunch of research, and you know how it relates to other adventures or whatever. And then also because we like to do a lot of B-roll, like Dade literally goes into each adventure or whatever book he's talking about, and like has to film B-roll for the different pages. And if you're going over the whole thing, then you're recording a bunch of B-roll. So it's just like, okay, in terms of like the output that we want to have, we don't want to have to spend this many hours just on one video.
Yeah, like I'm gonna go pull up. Because the B-roll on that. So the Monster Manual video.
Spoilers: we're releasing a Monster Manual video, an actual one, not me.
This is probably coming out after that.
Oh,
this
yeah,
is coming out tomorrow.
That's true. It'll be
we'll be synced up then.
It's coming out on Thursday.
Yeah, so for the Monster Manual behind the scene, like the B-roll stuff, it's 119 clips. So some of this is including a sponsorship thing. So it's about 100 clips.
That's so much
of just B-roll of us sitting, you know, and getting the micro lens and you know, just because we want visual aids and we want it to be exciting to look at and that kind of.
And obviously, all the B-roll we record, we can, you know, use it in future videos, but it still takes time.
It's intense for sure.
Yeah.
Do you worry that the success you found initially is going to be unrepeatable?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that I worry as much as that we make sure to not take it for granted. That there are plenty of people making incredible content that just at some point they don't find their audience
Mm.
anymore, and the videos aren't being pushed or whatever it is, and like with Guy, for instance,
Mm.
from How to Be a Great GM, shuts down his channel. So we're mostly sort of we're trying to approach this with a sense of that every time we're releasing a video, there's a certain amount of trying to give that video the best chance it can get.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and never taking for granted that the audience is going to follow along. And if we do something that we think is just something for us, then we make sure to accept that we know that this is more for us than it is for anybody else.
Yeah,
'Cause-
like we don't we don't ever go into a video expecting, oh, this is gonna do the same numbers
Mm.
that the combat video is doing, because it's not. It's that, and now I think that went to like I think 300,000 or something, and then
280.
close to that, and then I think the exploration video is now at 100K.
Yeah.
Like
The Five Room Dungeon one as
yeah,
well.
in the Fire and Dungeon.
Mhm.
Like there are a few that are rising, but like are like I think it's a bit hard to do an average view count because we haven't been around that long. But
Yeah.
I think it's like for us like a good like decent well doing video right now. I think is at like 25K,
Yeah.
30K. Like after some days, we're like, okay, great, that did well.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
did really well.
That to us is a success. Like the ones that are sort of a bit disappointing are the ones that fall under that metric. But
Yeah.
that's
But that's also, we're gonna make the stuff that we want to make. Like I made I mean, it was a joke, but I made the Valentine's Day
Yeah.
like monster manual sexy thing, and I knew like it was different, right? It was first of all I'm talking, right? People are used to seeing Daði talking.
Mm-hmm.
It's also just a different format. Like he's released some bonus videos now where he's like screen sharing or whatever, but it wasn't like the typical setup.
Yeah.
And it was also way longer. Like it was just different in every aspect. So I was like, this is goofy, but I want to do it because I think it's funny. And it was like the worst performing one until like very recently, and I'm like, that's fine. People still watched it. Like I'll take 6K views on this stupid.
No, of course.
We
You have
did
to-
largely for our entertainment. Sorry, I just
Yeah.
it was such a funny idea that we were like, we have to, right?
You've got to do stuff for yourself as well. The issue is trying to make that work within YouTube's like boxes, basically, which is the issue I think a lot of creators have. How has it been adjusting to the level of YouTube infamy, I guess, that you have from obviously I would imagine the expectation is the same as everyone when starting a YouTube channel, which is maybe someone will watch this.
Yeah. I mean, like first of all, I think the experience is also different between us. Like that is the face of the channel. Like I've been in like one or like a handful of things. So I definitely like I think our perception of it is a bit different. Like I understand we are already like well known in the space, but I don't feel famous. Like you know what I mean? I'm like that's your thing. You get to be the king of the castle. King of the castle.
It's been a bit weird. So like, I think it's been kind of the most mind blowing thing was because I watch a lot of Dungeon Tube. Like I'm constantly watching videos on the internet about being a dungeon master and running RPGs and all that. The big weird sort of moments have been whenever I'm watching a video and then somebody's mentioning us,
Right.
and sometimes they give me a heads up, which is very kind of them. Like Super Geek Mike, who I'm a big fan of, mentioned us in a video recently, and I was super surprised by it. But then I remembered he did give me a heads up a couple of weeks earlier. But then I I got randomly recommended one of a video of a friend of mine, another Dungeon Tuber, and I just clicked it and I watched it because I'm a fan of his content. And then there was a mention of us, and I was just like, I was in the middle of like second monitor viewing, and suddenly my name is coming out of this. And what's going on?
I can imagine. Well, I discovered you, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, from Jay Martin, Play Your Role.
Oh, yeah.
He mentioned that he'd reached out to you to discuss it as well. Do you think that's helped the video a lot, or do you think it's like an incidental thing that because it was doing well, it's doing well?
I don't know. The like looking at the analytics, I think that video has sort of taken on a life of its own.
Hmm.
The particularly types of combat one, because it gets to a certain point where there are no bumps or ridges or anything on the chart. It's
Right.
just like an analytic line that just goes
Yeah.
diagonally, which means that people are seeing it, and then people want to talk about it, and then that sort of feeds into this whole thing. And I'm just hoping that that people who go discover that video, they then find something else on the channel, and they like the just overall uh, content when we're talking about writer's block or loving
Hmm.
your work or any of those things. These are things that I think are very important, and there are other videos I probably wish more people would have seen, because I think that would have been nicer for creatives to hear, like the recent quality versus quantity video.
Mm.
uh, I'm very happy with how that one came out, and I wish that one would do as well as some
Yeah.
of the other ones, just because I think it's important advice in there. Same with there was a video I did on writer's block, um, and I wish that one would take on those kinds of legs, specifically because I think I think it'd be healthier for people to hear that advice as compared to like types of combat and how do I organize whatever. But
Mm.
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of that thing of like, there's all sorts of different people that watch YouTube, but sometimes, when it comes to learning D&D content, sometimes you're just like, oh, like I just need an idea. So like
Yeah.
a listicle type video or whatever, or things that gives different examples, you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna steal that, or I'm gonna take that and, you know, flip flop it to fit in my world, or
Yeah.
yeah, there's
because the thing with the quality, quantity, and all the stuff like that, that's like, okay, they're listening to you and like what you have to say to them as people.
yeah,
Yeah.
But 8 types of combat is like, technically, they don't care who you are. They just
they
want the
like
8 types of combat.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Is a difference in people that follow you because they like you and people that are just there for the content, basically.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Uh, and the listicle thing is also interesting because, or like they have content to mine is sort of the thinking about it like that. Like
Mm.
I walked into work today and a coworker of mine was standing outside, and he was thinking, or I was coming from lunch or something, and he was thinking about his session he's running tonight.
Yeah.
He just sort
Was
of
it Oscar?
yeah, and Oscar was like, "What can you do in a ruined city? Don't tell me about combat. What else can you do in a ruined city?" And I was just like, and then I started trying to list stuff. I have no idea if he listened to anything I said, or if he used any of it. But yeah, I think you're right in that a lot of people just need like they just want to hear something so that they can disagree with it and then have their own opinion. But they need the
Inspiration can be taken from places and then you go with your own thing, right? Like that's one of
yeah,
the
exactly.
joys of especially DMing, where you can be like, that's a cool idea. I'm gonna do this other thing that's tangentially related to it.
Yeah.
Same with YouTube, to be fair. Do you ever worry that the energy of the channel is too chill for the chaos that is YouTube?
No.
No.
I like that's what we wanted it to be, because
Yeah.
there's so many ways you can be a YouTuber, and we were like, listen, we just want to be kind of normal, or like maybe normal is the wrong word. Like, I don't know. Well, okay,
Let's talk about
your inspiration was Matt Colville. He wanted
yeah.
to be Matt Colville 2.0.
Listen,
That's a
no.
respectable aim.
It's the truth, because you love him,
I do.
and you were very sad when he stopped
The
making
running the game videos.
running the game videos, because
And
that was a huge inspiration to you.
yes, and I went and checked on this the other day, and I noticed that he'd uploaded, I think, 3 running the game videos in 2024. He's basically done with the series, but every now and again he'll make something, and when he does, I drop everything and I watch it because I'm a huge fan. Uh, but I also just know that this content needs to exist.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's healthy for DMs to have a space where they can just have this kind of chill. Like, I'm not here to tell you what to do or anything, but here are some ideas, and here's how I think of these things. And I also think there's a lot of folks out there who are already making that kind of coverage or news or whatever. They're going to talk about what nonsense Wizards of the Coast is doing. Um,
Because that's easily an avenue we could dip into,
Mm.
is, not rage bait, but like, like kind of a drama channel, or like, you know, Watsy did this, or Hasbro did this, or whatever.
Or even like a Professor Dungeon Master does these sort of, he dissects these topics and
Yeah.
talks about them in a very mature way. And there's thumbnail. He has to have a catchy thumbnail. Then you click on it, and he just has a regular conversation about the topic. And I usually find myself nodding along, going, "Yep, those are all correct opinions."
Yeah, but that's not what you do. You just wanted to talk about DMing.
Yeah,
and
like the channel launched. This is something I don't know. If so. The channel launched on November 8th. Do you remember why?
oh, weren't we? We were aiming for your.
We were aiming for the we wanted to get the 10-year anniversary. Like I've been running for
Yeah,
exactly 10 years.
your DM anniversary.
We moved it up a little because I wanted to make sure, because we were going to do it a bit later, but I was just feeling really down about politics.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
And there was this hangout that our friends were all going to go have on like a Friday, the week after a very fateful Tuesday in November. And I just texted them going like, guys, I need to sit here and finish editing all these YouTube videos because I want these chill vibes, and I wanna go launch a channel with a bunch of chill vibes and nothing but just regular old sort of how to go play D&D and have fun.
Yeah, because importantly, I'm half American, and in our friend group, there's also an American. So it's not like, you know, it's just Europeans, you know, sitting on high,
No.
observing the rest of the world. It's like, this is, you know, stuff that happens in the US affects people here. So there was all sorts of emotions.
Yeah. So it, like, in the chaos that is YouTube, I really wanted to go chase this sort of other zen and hope that there is a little bit of just, let's have a calm conversation about the fun we can have at the table together, and it doesn't need to be it doesn't need to be a revolution or rage or anger or like addition warring or whatever people want to get up to. Like, that's fine. I'm sure they're going to find their own spaces. But
I'm certain they will.
Yeah, it's like, we get so many comments. People are like, "Just play Pathfinder," and we're like, "You can, but this is just this is what we like to do. We're not saying it's the best, but if you care about it, here's some advice."
Yeah.
Yep. No, I started doing shorts. I've stopped doing them because they're more hassle than they're worth. But on one of them, I was talking about homebrewing something, and one of the comments was, "Oh, are you actually playing D&D, or are you just playing a homebrew version that's not like it?" And it's like, it doesn't matter what I'm playing. Go away. Like, I have no time for you, tiny human on the internet. Leave me alone.
That's like that guy who's been running D&D for like
from the Wired thing?
Yes, for like 40 years.
I have so much respect for that
He's
guy.
just like, he's like, over the years, he's just done some homebrew rules or adjusted things, or like, you know, as editions changed, he like didn't want to. So basically, whatever game he's playing today is not D&D 5e.
But it's not D&D second
And
edition.
it's not. It's just something. But they're
here's
all
the thing.
having fun.
They're all having fun.
Yeah.
It's a group of some like 15, 20 guys from all across America, and they're flying in to play this game.
Is that the one where it's in the basement?
Yeah,
And he's
yeah,
got
and
the whole thing. It's
terrain.
incredible.
I'm
Right?
obsessed
Incredible.
with it.
I follow him on Instagram, and the posts are just like clearly the nerdiest stuff you've ever seen. And it'll start with a sentence like charging into Moria is, and then, you know, blah blah blah, to fight Orcus.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on? Like, so they're in Lord of the Rings land, but they've got D&D bad guys, and they've got this party, and they list the classes, and no classes I've heard of.
Is he also the one that's like, when you cast magic, you like
You have to do the ritual.
You actually have to do like the somatic components.
Yeah, so they've got like, there's a cleric in the party, and he has to go bring up like a thing and lift it up and clutches, and like he has to do it correctly.
That's sick.
I just, you know, gotta respect the dedication.
They look like they're having so much fun.
Like, that's the kind of nerd I want to be.
Right?
I don't care if in 30, 40 years we're not playing D&D, but you know,
I have no allegiance to any system.
No.
We're just here to have fun. So like, if you're homebrewing, you're just making stuff. Like, I don't know why that would be viewed as an evil. Like,
It's
I mean,
weird.
that's how D&D came about. They
exactly.
were like, I want to make a thing.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make a game.
Yeah, exactly. And without third-party creators and weird rules and homebrew and stuff at this point, D&D wouldn't be what it was. It's a
Yeah.
guide, anyway. Okay, where did you come up with the name? How did you come up with the name MysticArts DM?
Oh my god. Well,
I think we just watched Doctor Strange.
no, it was not. What are you talking about? We talked about a name for a long time, and there was a bunch, and we like workshopped it with our friend group. There were a lot of like, no, that's stupid. Like, there were a lot of rounds. This was definitely not a like we thought of it immediately, and
No, oh god, there were so many different things. I genuinely, I think I just we were driving home from work, and I was just saying words until one of them wasn't rejected, and I was
yeah,
like, all right, fine.
he would say something and go, nope, nope,
One of
no,
this.
and this happened for like half an hour.
And we were literally driving around the corner on the way into the parking lot, and I was like, MysticArts.
And I was like,
all right, guess that's the winner.
all right.
You might as well.
I have nothing to complain about, so go for
We
it.
might as well be done with finding a name.
Because like that was a roadblock. We were like, we have everything, but we need a name.
Because we couldn't call it Daði, because it's just Daddy, and it was.
I refused to have that in the name.
Daði AB would be a great name. I'm stuck with Enter They Strive, which is a made-up word, and my love of Final Fantasy VII, and it's too late for me because it's my everything online. I'm stuck with it.
You know, that's the thing though. I kind of wanted to be semi-vague so that if we wanted to do something or whatever, like it wouldn't be crazy, you know?
Oh yeah, so we had DM in there for a bit, but now it's gone from the channel name because I removed it recently.
Yeah, because we were like,
what do we want to change it? But it was also like people couldn't Google us because they just got Doctor Strange.
really?
Yeah, because he's the master of the mystic arts.
Oh,
Because it's just like, it just means like wizardry or spellcrafting,
yeah.
you know.
No, but
The idea being that being a DM is a bit of a mystic art. You have the screen, there's this illusion that you know what's going on, and on this channel we're gonna tell you how to be someone who practices the mystic arts.
Demystify the arts.
Ooh, spin-off. There we go. Demystic.
MysticArts. It sounds like the setup to a joke that I can't say based on my own rules about what I'm allowed to say on my channel. But you know. Oh goodness. How do you feel about being a new channel in a period where there are some people claiming that the sky is falling?
Clearly it's not falling. We're doing pretty good. Like,
yeah, like I have so much sympathy though, because there is it's incredibly difficult to be, especially if this is something that people used to do for a living or whatever. We kind of have the luxury of this isn't our job, so we're kind of able to try weird stuff and spend 3 weekends on making a Monster Manual Sexiness tier list, and then whatever. Like,
I was following my heart
exactly.
and other things.
But at the same time, I really hope that what we're able to do is also just sort of show that it doesn't have to be so dramatic. Like, I don't want to be taken light of this, because I know there are loads of people for whom this is a living, and this is very terrifying. But at the same time, I'm sort of acutely aware of the fact that we've we have had a lot of luck, and we've been doing pretty well, and I think that just means that we need to make sure that we're spotlighting other channels, and we're helping out where we can.
Yeah, I mean, when I say, the sky isn't falling, I mean, like, mostly in relation to, I think, there's kind of an atmosphere now of like, oh, like this isn't the time to start a YouTube channel, or like it's really hard to get going. And I know we are like a rarity, like there's no guarantee that this would have happened or will happen to someone else, but it is possible. So if this is something you're thinking of doing, or have always wanted to make a video about the best wizard art, or so, I don't know, like just whatever, like if you want to do it, you should go for it.
Yeah.
If you're doing it because you think it'll go viral, probably maybe not the time to do it, because
it can be very difficult.
who knows how that works.
Yeah. I don't know how the algorithm works. Like,
No.
Nobody does.
If we did, all our videos would be doing as well as
that one that
as that one that did really well.
Yeah, nobody does. Not a single person I've interviewed has been like, I understand how this works. They're like, if something works, I do it again. If it doesn't, I don't do it again. That's as complicated as it is. And
Yeah.
Yep.
We did like a straight sequel to that combat video, the ambush one. That just
Yeah, it was like, it was fine.
It was fine. It was no different from our regular video. So we're like, okay, who knows?
We thought we'd cracked it. It was combat.
Yeah,
combat is the draw.
Combat is what people want.
Just 8 types. Maybe it's the number 8. It could literally be anything.
With 8 types of ambushes.
Oh, what 8 types of ambushes? Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't work here. I'm suffering too. Like, I'm just going with it.
Trying to figure it out.
I don't even know if I am trying to figure out.
I remember we were starting though. Isn't it like once you get monetized in certain countries, you can get like a YouTube rep or something?
If you get like if you do really well.
Yeah. But I remember we were just like doing thought experiments, or like, what if it ever goes really well? And we're like, well, actually, we'll just be alone the whole time, because in Iceland, we're not a country that qualifies for that.
Yeah.
So like, we would never even be able to get like, the inside scoop of like, how's it work? We no matter how successful we'll be, we're on an island in the middle of nowhere.
Which also means we have to deal with like Icelandic specific laws around all this stuff. Like one of the first things we had to do, because we got monetized very quickly based off of that combat video, so immediately we had to go look into
ad stuff.
Yeah, like and Icelandic corporate law and how international tax treaties work and these sort of, and we're like, oh god, we're just gonna talk about dungeons. I don't know.
This will be fun. Oh no, tax. Yeah, I can imagine that's
that's also like when we got the Patreon, like we can do, in order to get paid, we can select PayPal, but like we don't really want to use PayPal. Also, it doesn't really work well with Icelandic bank accounts.
No.
So we have to use this like other thing. I'm not here to dunk on it, but we have to use a different service. And so we've been trying to like submit paperwork for it and like documents, and it keeps coming back to us being like, oh, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, or you need to resend it. And we're like, what?
Do we have to send?
How much more information could you need from us?
There's a document they requested, which is you need to send us a document that says how the shareholders of the company are divvied, and that document needs to match what you've told us. And I sent them that document.
But it's all in Icelandic, right?
So like, how would they know?
How would you know what this is? And then they tell us, oh, this isn't good enough. And we're like, what?
It's also not just in Icelandic, because in the Icelandic, when you found a company in Iceland, you have to do it. Your initial ownership stake is based off of the money invested in the foundational fee.
Yeah.
So we don't have a document that says the company is 50% me, 50% AB.
Yeah.
We have a document that says she invested half of the funds required to make a company, and I invested half of the funds, and they do not equal 100. They equal like 500, and that, so it's 250.
Together though, it is 50%, like 50%, 50%.
So they're like, this isn't what you said it is. Even if they understood Icelandic, they wouldn't understand the Icelandic corporate law.
At this point, I want to go see what their like contact thing is, because I feel like we just got to talk to a person.
Yeah.
We just want to make videos about dungeons.
Just want to roll some dice, guys. Leave me alone. I don't want to do paperwork.
Yeah. We just wanted to expense a couple of books, maybe.
If we get monetized, we could maybe buy a book for slightly cheaper.
Yeah.
Or like,
maybe one day we could get sponsored and get sent a free thing.
Yeah. And now like those things have happened. So
and now we don't know how to. God, we have to deal with YouTube support. So
yeah,
suffering from success.
Whoa was that?
Man, people are gonna watch this video and they're gonna go, those two are full of themselves.
I'm so tempted to make Suffering from Success the title for the video. So tempted. It's that or I wanted to be the next Matt Colville at the moment. The good news is, with the amount of ADHD I'll have, I'll forget all about what I was thinking about titling this, and so that's fine.
speaking of, let's move on to a different topic, you know, so you forget.
Yeah, that's a good idea. My cat's currently being a little weirdo. He hasn't made an appearance in a video.
Show cat.
Can I pick you up? I can't.
Oh,
So this is Bo.
look at that boy.
He is enormous, as you can see. This
is
cat is
very
6 kilograms. 6 kilograms.
That
Oh,
is a big cat.
He's a rescue cat. He has anxiety.
Aww.
Very relatable.
Relatable.
When we found him, he had his whiskers cut off.
Oh.
And he's my little shadow. And he doesn't let any of my family near him.
Oh.
He's too scared of them. Would you like to get down? I'm sorry. But you're good for content. Will you
So
lick me?
sad. Like the angle on the camera makes it look like he's so
and the
sad.
ears.
He is.
Like-
He is a fat boy. He's 6 kilograms. Aren't you? Wait, bye-bye.
A friend has this fat cat who is, I think, also anxious, but is just incredibly violent.
Okay, I'm sorry, but Darwin is a jerk. Yeah, that's a mean cat. Literally, I can be sitting and like I don't even make eye contact with
Yeah.
him, and he walks up and like bites me. I'm like, what?
He'll do the thing where he rubs up against you and looks at you, and you give him a pet,
And then he bites you.
and then he bites you.
It's like I'm trying to respect your personal space. What do you want from me?
Cats. Cats are a lot like the YouTube algorithm. They don't make any sense, and sometimes it's violent.
Oh god.
Do you have a plan for the channel going forwards, or are you just making what you want to make?
Our big plan right now is get it to a point where the videos for next week are done before next week has arrived.
Yes,
That would be great.
that's kind of the only plan we have. Like, you know, we have video ideas, but we don't have like, you know, the channel needs to do this,
Yeah.
or you know, we're trying to do this X grand thing or whatever.
Mhm.
You know, there's always like subscription milestones.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But you know, we're already growing very fast in a very short amount of time. So I'm just like, I wonder what it'll be like at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly just like curiosity and keep on.
At some point, I'd like to make a book or something, but that's something I've been wanting to do for ages. But we have no plans for that. We don't know
It's like
if we're doing that or when or at what stage we'd look at it.
it's like, oh, one day I want to
Own a house.
own a house.
Yeah.
That's
That-
a that's
Dreams.
fair.
yeah.
That's very
That would be
fair.
great.
In this economy.
In Reykjavik?
All right, listen. God, cost of living here is so high.
You guys have no idea.
You don't know.
I'm in the UK and I live in an area where prices are similar to London, but you do not get London wages. So
Oh.
Yeah.
I do feel
Love
you if it helps.
Yeah.
Like the average flat is for like a 2-bed flat is like £250,000, which is not a small amount of money.
I'm trying to do math.
What's the pound at? 160?
I have no idea. Probably better than the dollar.
I think if we were to buy a house in Reykjavik, it would probably
So
be.
he said two-room apartment.
Oh yeah. Well, a 2-room apartment. Yeah, you might get that for this price. It might be about 40% more expensive though, if we're realistic. In Reykjavik.
I don't want to think about it. We don't live downtown for a reason.
Yeah. The commute's not that bad.
So the thing you wanted to do was be born 3 or 4 generations earlier.
Yes.
Ooh.
That's a life hack.
Yeah.
Pro tip.
If we channel to do that, that would be great.
Yeah. Just be born.
If with the money we can fund time travel and then
Be born
Profit?
before the 3 recessions, roughly, that our generation has been through at this point.
Good.
This is depressing.
yep.
Yeah.
Changing topics.
Oh, sorry.
Weekly. How did you both discover D&D in the first place?
Ooh. You want to go first?
Sure. I mean, I've always been a nerd, so you know, I've been playing video games since I was a wee lass. Always big into like RPGs, fantasy games like that. Like Dragon Age was one of the big series I was into. Just like BioWare in general made me like super into RPGs. And then in college, it was like 2015, like relatively recently after 5e had come out. Um, I was bored, and I think I like had heard of Critical Role, but I didn't really want to sit and watch videos. So at the time, I was a really big fan of Polygon. Like it's the journal video game like website, YouTube channel.
I interviewed someone for them. I have
Oh,
worked for
cool.
them. That's my day job.
Awesome.
That's my day job.
Oh,
Awesome.
incredible.
Weird writing stuff.
No, that's super cool.
That's awesome.
And I was a really big fan of Justin McElroy, who worked there, and they had brothers, whatever. So I got into there, and they had a D&D podcast called The Adventure Zone, and I was like, well, I think they're funny, so I could try this nerd podcast out, and I ended up really liking it. And then I had a few friends there at school that we played like a one shot or two. And then I started playing on Roll20 because I was like, this is pretty cool. And so I played online, and actually it wasn't until I played with Daði that I really ever played in person.
Cool.
Like besides those one or two sessions
Yeah.
in school.
For me, it was Yogg's Quest way back, way back. I don't even know what edition they were playing or whatever in that first video, but I remember thinking that was really funny, and we decided to go play Pathfinder based off of that, and we did a couple of years of first edition Pathfinder, and then that sort of same group kind of shifted and morphed, and eventually got into 5e, and several people stopped playing, and several new people started playing, and that sort of kept happening. And to this date, it's been a largely continuous line where it's never been like a new campaign, new player group. It's like some of the players from the previous one and some new players, and that has kept happening for about 10 years. And yeah, I started by I think I did like I started playing for like 3 months, and then the DM ended their campaign, and I ran for the same group after that, and that sort of changed and shifted. We tried homebrewing our own systems. We made 2 of them, I think. We tried a whole bunch of systems until we went back to Pathfinder and eventually swapped over to 5e, and have sort of we kind of fell in love with 5e, so we've just been playing that ever since.
Yeah, 5e's good. Like, it's not perfect, but there's a reason it's so popular, and yeah, part of that is obviously the media that supports it, but it's also just fun to play, right?
Yeah. I'm a big sucker for heroic fantasy. I just get a huge kick out of getting to be the good guy, and these are the bad guys, and they're horrendous.
Do you get much chance to actually play, Daði, or do you just DM?
Yeah.
Oh boy, does he!
Last month I was doing about 4 sessions a week.
Oh, nice.
We decided to reduce a bit now. So
much to my chagrin.
So I think we're down to 3 now.
That's not enough D&D. You need more D&D.
Yeah.
Because they're playing in a game I'm not in. So he was lessening the thing that I'm in. I was like, I need more.
I can't just go cancel Magnus's game.
Yes, you can.
No, I play a whole bunch. I really love playing, and I think I'm gonna probably I'm probably gonna have to reduce it a little bit more, because I think 3 times a week and the whole YouTube thing is a lot. But if the YouTube thing starts cutting into my actual hobby, because we've been talking about YouTube as sort of my hobby's hobby, if the D&D stuff has to be sacrificed, I don't think I'm willing to make that trade. So
I think that's very fair.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, no, I think that's very fair. I play 3 times a week. I DM
Awesome.
once, play twice usually. There was one week where I played 7 times, once every night.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of those were improv sessions where like we were gonna play and then someone pulled out, and I was like, well, I'll just figure something out.
Awesome. Awesome. Love it.
But we
That's
play
great.
online because 2 of the players in our group are in China, one of them's in Denmark, and then 2 of them weirdly, one of them is me, obviously, but one of them also lives like 15 minutes down the road from me,
But
which is strange. Our kids go
how
to the
does
same
that,
school.
if I can ask you a question, we can reverse interview for a second. How does that work with?
With time zone.
No, I was going to ask about with kids.
Oh.
You can ask both of those things. Time zones, the players in China are very dedicated and get up incredibly early. They go to bed early, they get up early. D&D is, so I think the way, here's a pro tip, not to you two, you guys know this, but if you want D&D scheduling to work, you have to make it the priority or
Yes,
it doesn't work.
Correct.
it's the
So
only
we
way to do it.
have, yeah, we have times where we play D&D
Mhm.
and that's what we do on those times.
Top of the queue.
Yeah.
Whatever else we do in our life, it has to come next.
Yeah, if something happens with the kids or something else, right? Obviously, that comes like real life does occasionally interfere. But as for how I play with the kids, because I play in the evening and my kids are still relatively young, they're asleep usually.
Sweet, yeah.
So, yeah,
And it's presumably it's less of a concern because you're not leaving the house. You get to you can
exactly.
play remotely. So if something does come up, you can run off.
Yeah, I've done sessions where I'm like, I will be back in a second because my son's woken up and thrown his dummy across the room or something,
Yeah,
and I have to go and deal with that. Um,
yeah,
because that's parenting. But yeah, if you want D&D to work, you make it work, right?
yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
That's yeah. It's
Fantastic.
nothing to do with scheduling. You just need to actually want to play it.
Yep. Yep.
That's my D&D hot take. Speaking of which,
Love it.
have either of you got D&D hot takes?
Oh my god.
Ooh, now this one's a thinker. I think high level play is not as difficult as people make it out to be.
That is controversial.
Yeah,
Why do you think that?
because I've run high level play for many sessions,
Mm,
and it was a lot of fun. It has challenges, and those challenges are real, but
mhm.
they're not. I would not say significantly more difficult than the challenges of low level play. If you're playing low level, you might well find out that you're gonna be killing PCs, you're
Yeah,
gonna be treading lightly, and as a result, you're sort of afraid to do anything. If you're playing high level D&D, it's literally the same problem but in reverse.
yeah,
You just have to step on the gas pedal and be completely okay with having God show up and kill a player character immediately. They've
yeah.
got resurrection. They've
They
got
have so
they've
much
got
resurrection. Yeah.
so in my 20th level boss battle I ran for 8 PCs, I think there were 17 player deaths.
Wow.
And that's how you make it scary. You just like
Yeah.
they've got resurrection, they've got tricks up their sleeve. One of them's got wish. What
Right.
do? Well, you just go all out and you try your best to try and kill them and see
Yeah.
see what make it be a little bit confrontational. Like obviously you don't want to be an actual adversarial DM, but
Mm.
just a little,
At
and
high
it goes a
levels, you
long.
sort of need to be
Yeah,
because they're so strong. Like even past level like 5, level 6, it's so hard to actually do anything to D&D players.
yeah. So I gave that legendary bad guy. I gave him a wizard. Gave that wizard meteor swarm. Let's
Nice.
start the fight. All right, 500 damage spread across the party. Now we have a good session ahead of us. Give him a second 9th level spell slot. Power word kill, and then you go absolutely swinging. You see what the players can do.
Very cool. What about you,
What's your
AB?
I don't have a lot. I don't know. Well, okay. Speaking of Wish and Meteor Storm, I think wizards should have less hit points. If you manage to survive early levels, you literally like bend the world to your will. I think they should have D4s.
That's how it used to be. That's 3rd edition.
Well, go back to third edition. I don't know.
Dear
Back in my
Pathfinder
day.
comic. There you go.
I've never played Pathfinder. I've never played older editions. If you dump con, that's your problem.
I do dump con.
Gosh, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, I've mostly been playing martials recently. So my level 17 monk has 14 constitution, but it's because he's an astral self monk, so he's got 22 wisdom and 18 dex. So like,
Oh yeah.
who cares? It doesn't. At that there's a certain point, right? And especially at high levels, where if you get hit, you're going to die. So it's more important to try not to get hit with a higher AC or to be killing things first. than it is to have health. Because at a certain point, your health total is more or less irrelevant, right?
Yeah.
That's
Somebody
like,
gives you 20 hit points, and you're like, that's not gonna matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, exactly,
down,
right?
right?
He just
Yeah.
hit me for 70, and it's yeah. In one of the sessions we did a couple weeks ago, my character was 1v1ing an ancient shadow dragon, while the other three party members were taking on this warlock of Vecna, which was sick. But I was like, well, I'm gonna die, so like I'll start thinking about backup characters, which because I'm fine with it. If I die in a narratively satisfying way, then that's fine. And my character's being an idiot because he's all noble and stuff, so let him die. I'll make another character. I have so many character ideas I want to play. It's fine.
Yeah, that's similar to like the first character I ever played. I was playing on Roll20, and I was joining a campaign that was already at like level 9 or 10 or something. So it was like a lot,
Yeah.
a lot to learn. And I didn't like, my DM went over the stats to the best of his ability, but there was a lot. I didn't understand that like con was tied to health.
Yeah.
And I was playing a warlock, and I think I dumped it. And so at level 11, I had like 49 hit points.
Nice.
And I was like, "Why do I keep going down?" And he he took a look at my sheet and is like, "Why do you have a negative con
Why
modifier?"
have you done this?
I was also a warlock, right? And I
Yeah.
was like, I didn't know charisma was my main stat. So
Right.
my highest stat was intelligence. I was like, why does
It was a learning experience.
there were a lot of things were learned. And I continue to make mistakes in my character sheet, like just
That's
literally,
just normal,
yeah, it was like literally last night, when I was like, "Oh, what were we talking
Oh
about?"
God.
Several sessions ago, I realized my AC should be 1 higher than it
I
actually
gave her
is.
a +2 shield,
Right.
and she went, "Got it, great. All shields are +2 anyway."
I was like, "Shield gives you +2 AC."
Ah.
That's what +2
It's
shield means.
true.
Um,
That one was
so that was wrong. So I'd been nerfing myself, for halfway here,
Yeah.
a
You just want a
year.
harder game. I respect it.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
You would be a Fashion Souls player.
I am a Fashion Souls player.
Awesome.
Okay, I think we're reaching the end of the interview, which is good because it's late for both of us. This is very novel, interviewing someone on the same time zone I'm in. This has never happened.
Oh.
Ah.
Everyone
Yeah, we
interviewing is
didn't-
Australian or
It's gotta
American.
work together, you
Yeah.
know? Why did you
You did it.
It just felt like the right thing to do. Idiots,
Yeah.
we're neurodivergent.
Magic.
Leave us alone.
Yeah.
It felt like it would be satisfying to do, and it was. Is there anything you'd like to plug other than the channel, of course?
Yeah, on the Patreon right now, if you said this is coming out tomorrow, so that means we've just launched our homebrew class, the Warlord, available for Mystic Adept tier members.
That's the most expensive one.
That's right.
Fancy one.
The fancy one. It's a whole class. It's I think it's a 10-page PDF or something like that. It's a class, 3 subclasses on being a tactical martial support character for 5th edition. So you use your orders and maneuvers to trade your attacks and actions to boost certain player characters by your own choice in the heat of battle, to empower your friends and allies while also being a frontline fighter yourself.
Sounds very good.
This is designed by myself and my longtime co-conspirator Magnus, who's sort of done a whole bunch of work on this thing and made sure it's been publishable, where it was only just homebrew a couple of months ago.
It's a team effort.
Yeah.
Respect it. Right, well, in that case, thank you very much both for coming on.
Thank you so
I
much.
really
thanks for
appreciate you
having
finding time. We just have to wave at the camera now awkwardly, and then that'll be the end. You don't have to be awkward, but like that's what Pointy Hat did, and he was the first person I interviewed.
Oh, well.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.